Hello, this is Miss Andrea. I spent some time on my channel today going through old videos and changing thumbnails, and updating titles and stuff like that. And I noticed that you guys respond pretty well to some of the Reddit homeschool things. So I wanted to get over there next and came across some Reddit homeschooling things that were interesting. So why don't we enjoy them together? Okay. Um, Homeschooling in the US is absolutely terrifying. Brief intro about me. I work in the juvenile section of a public library in the South. I was raised Christian, but around the age 10 to 11, I started out that BS, went to public school and college. In the library, I see a lot of homeschool kids and parents. Setting aside the issue that half of these homeschool kids can't write, do math properly, or socially interact with other humans, there's the bigger issue. Parentheses, I know some of you came out fine, and I have a friend that was homeschooled by her weird pagan mom. That's fine as well. I'm speaking generally, in parentheses. They're being homeschooled to make sure they remain a religious nutter. Moms, check out history books from the 1970s with dubious information, all with a Christian overlay. They aren't allowed to read anything that isn't clean, quote unquote. Take into account these kids will be like 12 or 13 years old. No Harry Potter, Star Wars, or comic books, as they are the devil. They're all devil. Manga, question mark. Super devil. TV, question mark. No, they aren't allowed to watch TV. Also, the devil. So these kids are making it to 18 years old reading false history books while having Jesus beat over their heads. Then they ship them off to a private Jesus college to maintain the lies. Poor little poops are being brainwashed. I was really hoping that education was going to be the eventual death of the curse known as religion on mankind, but I guess I was dreaming. So I realized after reading that I was in Reddit atheism and not Reddit homeschooling. So I'm going to link a live stream that I did with my group on my business channel where adult homeschoolers specifically talk about this. And my teenage homeschoolers were in complete and utter shock that one of the older homeschoolers, who's only about 23 years old, um, had experienced this, not through her parents, but through people in the homeschool community who thought that her extremely Christian parents were way too liberal. So let's put that in perspective. My friend's extremely Christian parents are too liberal for the kind of homeschooler um, described here, which means that the people being described in this complaint about homeschoolers is really more about people going all the way to the wall with the over religiosity. Um, the homeschoolers today, these are not your parents' homeschoolers. These are not your grandparents' homeschoolers. These kids are extremely mature, extremely knowledgeable about the world. I know, I teach them, and they make me blush. So, under best comments, and this is actually pretty well measured. Someone says, I know two families, one that did it great and one family who managed to F up all their children. Family one, kid is brilliant and schools really couldn't keep up with him. His parents subscribed to one of those systems and the kid tore through it all. They then took him to a bunch of math tutors, etc. Kid managed to ace the SATs and get into a great university, graduated with flying colors, and off to the races. Um, about a third of the homeschoolers I encounter like knock it out of the park like this. And then there's the other third who kind of hit average, and then the third who don't do well, kind of like in school. Maybe. Family 2. The parents are young earth creationists, dominionists. That's a new word for me. They didn't want their kids going to school because it might corrupt them. They then proceeded to unschool the kids because something about the kids just learning real practical skills they can use in the world. While the kids could read and knew Bible front to back, that was pretty much it. How I got to know one of the kids was he started working as a dishwasher at the same restaurant that I was working at. As teenagers do, we started talking, and holy cow, this kid was hungry for information. He knew his parents were sheltering him, and it was driving him crazy. I remember saying to the kid, "Ask away, I'll answer anything." The questions were all over the place, from stuff like, "Where do babies come from?" to basic geography questions and just basic questions about how to math. Even as a dumbass teen, and he could, and he could as well, that his parents had fluffed him over hard. We worked together for 8 to 9 months. Every shift, we'd have an endless string of questions. I taught him basic math on the cardboard boxes we were breaking down. On his break, he'd read my U.S. history textbook from high school and have even more questions. Then one day, he just disappeared. I suspect he went home and inadvertently some book learning leaked out and his parents freaked, and that was it. I thought I'd like to think he saved a bunch of money and bought a bus ticket to anywhere and just disappeared. James, if you're reading this, I hope you landed on your feet, and I hope in some small way I helped you. I've heard of these cases. Um, Not so much now, in modern times, but let's. My youngest finished homeschooling 11 years ago ish. And back then, it wasn't hard to find someone like this. I remember my very first homeschool parent group meeting I went to. Someone from my church had brought me there, and my presence ruffled people because I was kind of one of these things are not the same kind of situations. If you know what I mean, if you know, then you know. And this woman looked at me in my soul, deep in my eyes, and said, "If God didn't explicitly tell you to homeschool, then you shouldn't be here. Because there is no way that God would have looked at me with all this melanin popping and explicitly tell me to homeschool." And I just said to her, I said, "Well, I can be kind of thick." And so I don't remember specifically having a conversation with the Lord. However, things got to a point in my children's school that it was apparent that I should be homeschooling, and the rest of that is none of your business. I didn't go back to that homeschool group. So, no, I've met these people. They also don't want, it's not that they not only don't want their kids to get too much like non-Bible learning, they also don't want their kids to, I don't know, have any of this beautiful brown rub off on them. I don't flipping know. So, looking for advice about college and GTFO from fam. So they want to get away from family real bad. Hi, I've been homeschooled and socially isolated my entire life. It has not been great. I want to pursue a career as a librarian, but to do so, need a master's in library science. Great, but here's my issue. I don't have a flipping clue about traditional schooling works, like at all. I have the vague notion what a semester is and a freshman versus a sophomore. Whenever people talk about college and stuff, they make a very fair assumption that you'll have some sort of an idea what they're talking about, but not me. Nope. I have no idea what the difference between a bachelor's or a master's, what I need to do, or even try enrolling or apply for a scholarship, or even how to find any I could even qualify for. I know counselors exist, but but are they ready to educate me on every detail? Because that's what I desperately need. If any of you have any experience and or advice, resources to help me, it would mean the world to me. My grandparents out of state and away from my parents' crazy have offered to help me out financially and with housing if I go to college. Good. Originally, I wanted to go out and get my own on my own 2 feet, make friends, and then head to college after building something on my own that almost resembled a normal life. But I am 21 now. I still have no in-person friends. Have to keep my online ones on the DL from the eyes of Sauron. From the eyes of Sauron. Having moving in with my grandparents thoroughly nixed, I started looking at the local community college that everyone at my local library has recommended me, and it does offer dorms, which will give my mother a connection. Um, Another is my state university, which I know will have dorms, but will make those starting years be a bit more expensive. I think I'm going to talk to my mentors at the library and get some advice from them about everything. Thank you guys for taking time and answering my post. So yeah, get an associate's degree. Go to the closest community college to you. Work that's 20 hours a week. Your grandparents are going to pay you dorms. Cool. And get your associate's degree. Your associate's degree will prepare you for your bachelor's degree. Your bachelor's degree will prepare you for your library science degree, right? Um, People talk about taking college level examinations. Um, Also, but like if you feel like you didn't get enough out of homeschooling, just go ahead and take the GED. You're 21. You're an adult. You can't change what has happened, but you definitely can move things forward in your future. So it wasn't that exciting. If you enjoyed this conversation, let me know and I'll do more. But until next time.